Hey everyone, today I'm creating 24 mini slimline cards using the January 2023 SheetLoad of Card template. This is part of the creative team's SheetLoad Rewind series, so there will be other creators who are also using this sketch, and there will be a link below. I'm using the Brutus Monroe Deco Pastel collection. I think that's what it's called. I'll put a link to everything I've used today if it's still available in the description. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. It is only single-sided. There are 8 patterns and then there's 3 of each. So there is 24 sheets of paper. I've decided that what I'm going to do is use cardstock for all my matting layers today. And here you can see I've chopped down the card bases, but also some of the extra pieces to use for the matting layers. So I decided that if I lined up the 6.5 inch, 6.25 inch side of the card base, I could then cut the 8.5 by 11 inch paper down to have a 2.25 inch panel, which I then used on the backing layer for the feature paper in the middle of the card. So if you get the sketch, and the link's available download on how to find it, you will understand what I mean. But I just tried to be as efficient as possible with my cardstock. So I'm running through here and just using my scoring board to run through and create a fold line. And then these are the panels that are 2.25 wide, and they're a little bit longer than I need. So I'm just running through and cutting those down to 5.25 so that I have that perfect white border around the 5 by 2 inch pattern paper that I'll use later on in the video. I'll also add that these little bits that I've put off to the side here, the tiny pieces, I will most likely use those down the track to stamp a sentiment on them. I try not to waste any of my cardstock and find a good use for it, even if it holds in my stash for a little while in the lead up. Now I'm cutting down the third piece of the matting layer, and for that I'm using that leftover section at the top of the cardstock, and I'm cutting down, I think it's a 1.25 by 3 inch panel, and I'm just making sure I have plenty of those so that once I've actually got my papers cut down, it's just a matter of attaching the pattern paper onto the matting layer and then assembling the cards. I like to do things bulk style, so this works absolutely perfectly. The first piece of pattern paper is actually 6 inches by 3 inches, and given this is a 6 by 6 paper pack, I'm literally just cutting them in half, and I'm paying a little bit of attention to the direction of the paper because it's a vertical card, and so for this I want to make sure that I have decided or made a conscious choice about which way around the pattern paper is going to be. Now I've cut through one of each pattern paper because I decided for today's video that I would like to mix up the pattern papers as much as possible and not have too many cards exactly the same. Now that means that for the second piece of paper, for the second panel, I need a piece that is the 2 inches by 5. So I've cut 1 inch off the edge, and then I'm running through and I'm chopping these down to 3 pieces. So from each piece of paper, I'm going to get 3 that can be stacked in the middle of the card design. And then I've put that 6 inch by 1 inch piece of paper to the side because the final piece is quite coincidentally 3 inches by 1. So I can chop those in half, and then they will be the feature that goes across the sort of the bottom of the card in the final design. When I'm cutting through these, I'm really, as I said earlier, doing the maths as I go. And because I get 3 pieces of one element out of a sheet and only 2 of these ones, I don't have enough. So I need another 8 pieces of the 3 by 1 inch. And I have 4 pieces of pattern paper left up on the top left hand of my screen. So this is me looking through and trying to decide which of these should I cut down 8 of the 1 inch strips to use on the cards. And I decided that I would use this blue one because there is a mixture of blue and pink tones with sort of the grey colour in these designs. And some of the designs do have blue and pink, and I thought the blue might just be easier to match with the pattern paper. On reflection, I actually wish I had used parts of 2 different pieces of pattern paper because it did push my creative juices later with trying to use that much blue in the card designs. Here I'm running through with my ATG and I'm just literally putting tape on the back of these, and then I'm going to line these up in the middle of the white matting layers. So it's a matter of just lining them up so that I've got a nice clean edge. With some of these, I had not cut them exactly perfectly, So when I line these up, I make sure 3 of the sides are excellent. And then if the other one has a little bit too much cardstock, then off camera, I actually go through and trim those down. It works out pretty well most of the time, but if there was a slight adjustment to where I cut the paper, sometimes they look a little imbalanced, and so it only takes a couple of minutes to run through and tidy those up if needed. Normally, if I'm going to do panels like this, I would add the pattern paper to a bigger sheet and then trim it down, but for this one I decided getting the elements ready just seemed to make the most sense. This part here can be a little tricky, and I've left all of this in and made it 4 times speed, because I know that people seem to enjoy just looking at the choices that I make along the way around which paper is going to go with which. While I was working on this, I will say it did get pretty challenging because quite a few of these papers are very busy. The few that look like a bit of a neutral, so this one here with the brown and the gold, and maybe some of the ones that have like the little, I guess, neutral tone-on-tone patterns, they break up the designs a little bit. But because the other patterns are all so busy, what I could have done is I think I could have stretched this paper pad to make several more cards by introducing maybe a plain cardstock for one of the layers. But I have so much pattern paper in my stash that I was determined to use some of it up for this project. And this paper I have used before. I will put a link below to another project where I used this paper pack. I loved it so much that at the time I bought 2 packs. So after this project, I think I have 3.5 sheets left, and I'll put that into my leftovers to use on an odds and ends project along the way. Now, in terms of gluing all of this together, I used the ATG gun to attach the pattern paper to the cardstock. I find that that works better than any kind of liquid glue. I could also have used double-sided tape. Sometimes I do that if I'm not sitting at my craft desk and preparing the elements, if I'm in front of the TV or multitasking. But when I'm putting these together, I really want everything to stick really well. And these pattern papers are sort of a glossy or shiny finish. So when you use the ATG on top of it, it can peel off. So here I am with my liquid glue, having a little bit of wiggle room with how I line things up, which is another one of the benefits. And I am attaching the 3 elements together to finalize the cards. Now, one of the other things that's really important here is with those 3-inch strips that go across the middle, for some of those I had to kind of manually trim them down a little bit, but you can see that they go off the edge of the other pattern paper on the left and right hand side. You could put a little bit of scrap underneath it just to make it completely flat, but I decided not to this time. I didn't want to fuss around with the project, and even though they do sort of have slightly different levels, it all works out just perfectly fine. I don't think it's noticeable on the card, therefore that I would have needed to put those cardstock layers behind. Now I'm looking at all of my brilliant different designs and they look absolutely amazing. I really do love this color combination. And then I'm going through my stash of leftover sentiments, and I have these quarter circle ones where I made loads and loads of them for a previous sheet load. And some of them have things on them that I probably wouldn't use as a sentiment quite as often. But I love these hello ones because they're just a nice, simple use for any occasion style sentiment. And I have several charities that I donate to that like cards that are not happy birthday, so something with a bit of a mix. My stash of thank you cards is a little bit out of control, so I only did 3 or 4 of those today, and I'm trying to avoid making thank you cards until I find something to do with them or somewhere that I can donate them where they will be used. So you'll see quite a few generic sentiments from me and happy birthday probably for a short little while. If you're enjoying the video, it would be amazing if you could hit the like button. That is how YouTube knows to share a video with more viewers. Thank you so much in advance for that. I would traditionally focus on making A2 cards. They're kind of a size that I can get envelopes for pretty easily. For these ones though, a couple of tips. It seems to me in the US that these are good for check envelopes or cash envelopes, and I've seen them called like an envelope number 6. So they seem to be very readily available. They are just over 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches. I hope that is helpful for you. I have put another couple of videos here that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.